Yeah, there's a lot of reports. I mean, in 11 practices that they've had, 3 of them have been walkthroughs, and there's been other opportunities when they've had chances to maybe
a combo of both, yeah,
to do more physical practices, and they've opted not to do it. So there's a lot of people that think this has been kind of a light/soft training camp up to this point, but lighter. If you just talk to the people that work in that building every single day, not necessarily the players, it is a much lighter kind of facility now more than it's ever been.
Well, I think some of that is, Vrabel's a ball buster, and you're going to get some of that. He actually elsewhere in the podcast today mentioned he's still in the feeling out period, and Taylor Lewan talked about with Vrabel, back in Tennessee, they didn't know when to laugh sometimes. Like, they didn't know when he was going from coach is chewing me out to, okay, I just made a funny, guys. It's okay to laugh at whatever I just said. And Vrabel said, yeah, I'm still in that early phase here with the players, that they do walk on eggshells at times because he's a hardo. Like, he can be an intimidating football leader, whatever you want to call it, but sometimes he also has the ball-busting moment where he wants you to laugh, and he wants us to be light, and he wants us to build relationships. And my biggest takeaway from this whole podcast was just that, the relationship he has with these 2 former players, and he talked about it. That's what I want to have. I can be a dictator, I can be a powerful football coach and run the personnel and get what I want and build my culture, but you also see him, Fitzy, signing autographs. You also see him taking photos with wives and girlfriends that are visiting their players.
People in front of me last week. I literally watched him pick up a phone and do a message to somebody, and I told you the first thing I thought was, in the Bill Belichick era, please.
So he's Bill Belichick with some caring, or Ted
calls him Parcells.
Why do you call him Bill Belichick?
Because I think he's a great football coach, and I think he's maniacal of every detail. It's a compliment. Don't take it as a negative.
Great minds think alike. There you go.
Like, for example, the out Belichick a couple times with the punt rule, the throwback to the quarterback, and he said, I just wanted to see if our quarterback could do it better than their quarterback. Like, he has that.
That's when I knew Michael would make a great coach.
But I think he also knows he has to play the modern game and work with players.
Do you think his strengths are football strategy or interpersonal skills?
Both.
It's one or the other, and it's interpersonal skills. So he's got more Parcells in him than he's got Belichick in him. Way
but
more.
I also think he has good football strategy. I don't want to minimize that.
He does, but I'm just saying, if you had to pick one or the other, clearly to me, his strength is his ability to communicate with people. That was Parcells' strength. That was not Belichick's strength.
And I don't think he goes as far as Parcells.
Do you think that place over in Foxborough, do you think they're walking on eggshells? Do you think they're do you get the sense when you go to practice that everyone is like kind of tiptoeing around, scared to? Okay.
But I think there's a little fear factor. I think they are respectful, or that whole would you rather be feared or liked or whatever. He still has fear to him. And he acknowledged that he's making jokes that some people aren't laughing at because he thinks they're afraid to laugh, that they're not quite there. Even the Bussin' boys, when they were talking before he came on, were like, what kind of mood do you think he's going to be in? We can't joke right out the gates, because if he's not in the joking Vrabel mood, then that'll go poorly and he'll get mad, and we got to wait for him to break the ice. And it was almost that, imposing figure that they're kind of feeling out where the interview is going to go. So I do think he has some of that, but I also think he's a really smart football coach. When you heard him on the podcast talk to Taylor Lewan, and they're throwing back and forth, fast-paced, you would have hated it, Ted. They were
pause, stop,
nonstop terms and blocking schemes and backside and the 4-eye and the win, and to hear Vrabel, a linebacker, a defensive coordinator, talking with an offensive lineman as fast and as furious about technique and scheme and all these things, told you, this dude knows everything on a football field.
And I told you from the very beginning, he's the smartest player I've ever played with.
And now I think he might be one of the smartest coaches in the National Football League. Like, I know people are going to put McVay or Shanahan. I think he's in that class. And I don't think there's a lot of coaches.
Oh, he's such a homer. Yeah, he's such a homer.
Do you think
I don't
Belichick
think there's a lot that
spit
are.
the bit like McVay does every time. Excuse me, not like McVay. McVay is clutch. Shanahan. I think Vrabel has the stones to follow through on his conviction. Whereas I think that Shanahan, turtles every time the moment gets too big for him. Because look at his record.
Yeah, and I think that's another part of his makeup. We kind of joke about, like, we call him cocky or cocksure or whatever you want to say. That's a good thing. Because when the lights are bright, I think you need to be that. You need to be the one guy on the sideline that everybody looks to and you're ready to be looked at. Because if you're not ready to be looked at, you probably shouldn't be the guy that everybody's looking at.
Agreed. What are we looking for in this joint practice starting tomorrow?
So I would start with that. How do they handle themselves against a team that was in the NFC title game last year? Like, remember the couple years ago, there were all the fights with the Bears because one of the Bennetts, Martellus Bennett, was on the Patriots, and there was a history. They were fighting, and it kind of derailed the whole practice. The first thing I want to look at, do Mike Vrabel's Patriots belong on the field with an organization that, whether you believe in them or not, were in the NFC title game last year? And does it look like a well-run, competitive, physical, high-end practice? And I think they will measure up in that. I think that is, but that's the big picture first takeaway. Do they deserve to be on the same field as the NFC contenders?
They played the NFC, the Super Bowl champs in last year at this time, and it didn't look too good, did it?
Sucked. Didn't measure up.
What do you
Looked
think?
like they didn't belong there.
What do you think, Fitzy? What are you looking for tomorrow?
What am I looking for tomorrow? I don't want to see the Patriots give up 5,000 sacks. When we're talking about like, of 24 reps, Drake May would have been sacked 8 times. I would like to see receivers get open and make plays, whether they be Javon Baker, whether it's maybe Steph Diggs or Booty. I would like to see precision. I don't want to see errors. That's all we were treated to last year, Ted. Errors and people blowing by for sacks. I don't need to see a fight. I don't need this team to come out and try to be so tough that they prove a point. Just look like a professional operation that's not going to tell the fans, hey, guys, might want to lower your expectations. And I'm not talking about overall win totals, Ted. I'm just talking about the way the season starts. I don't want tomorrow to tell me to lower my expectations a month from now.
Can I throw a specific one out there?
Please.
A very specific one.
Yeah.
I have been very impressed with Harold Landry and Chasen. And if they are out there, if they are healthy enough to be out there, I want to see if them getting after the quarterback was a product of the Patriots offensive line, or are they getting in Jaden Daniels' view? Are they coming off the edge with some speed? Are they winning some battles on the edge? Because that could be telling as how we sort of analyze that whole situation.
Those are all good guys, and I'm going to be looking for the same things that you guys mentioned. But I'm also going to be looking at just the 2 quarterbacks. I'm curious. I want to see how Drake conducts himself versus Jaden Daniels. Mm-hmm. They both came in the same year. They're both roughly the same age. Mm-hmm. Just how do they carry themselves? What's their leadership style? How do the players for the Commanders resonate with Jaden Daniels versus the Patriot players with Drake May? I'm just curious to see those two competing, not head-to-head, but competing in the same practice. Stylistically, how do their players, their teammates respond to them each? And can Drake May learn something from Jaden Daniels?